Welcome. Come look at this. Look. It'll just take a moment and then we can get to the digital Ren Fair. It's a fairy circle. It's magical. You don't see these in this part of the world that much. Do you think we should go and step inside? Yes or no? Write it in the comments. Yes, we should step into the fairy circle, or no, we should just go back home and have a cup of tea. We should also weigh the pros and cons of the situation. So, on the one hand, everyone says don't step into fairy circles because then you'll get whisked off to the world of fae and not come back until you're old and grey. It rhymes. But then on the other hand, you happen to be speaking to an expert of all things magical and fairy-like. So I think that we should step into this circle because this is not a dangerous fairy circle, because this circle is made of flowers and the dangerous ones are made out of mushrooms. And I know these kinds of things because I'm a 16th pixie on my father's side. I just realized you have no idea who I am probably. Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm Liv. My full name is Olive Tree by the bend in the creek where Seamus O'Shaughnessy wooed a lady and then died of sadness. But please, just call me Liv. And what else could I tell you about myself? Well, I'm part of a band called Music the Gathering. I'm a dryad and I'm a druid. Now, dryad means that when I don't look like this, I'm a tree. And then druid means that, as I said before, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to things magical and nature-based and things like that. So trust me when I say that this fairy circle is not dangerous. So what do you think? Should we step inside? I think that we should make this episode of the Digital Ren Fair a trip, an adventure through the fantasy forest. What do you think? I will say that there are lots of fun creatures waiting to meet us, like unicorns and mermaids and dragons. I think that may have swayed some of you. Yeah, let's do it. Come on, let's take a step inside. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa, we did it. We're here in the fantasy forest, full of magic and mystery, beauty and bravery and weird stuff. All right, before we meet some of the inhabitants of the Sealy Glen, we have to lay down some ground rules. 1. Do not eat anything in the fantasy forest, unless it looks really tasty and you just want a little bite. 2. Now at the Digital Ren Fair, our goal, along with entertaining all of yous, is supporting the creatures and performers here in the fantasy forest. So we will be putting digital tip jar information on the screen and in the comments. If you can give anything, even just a few coins, it's greatly appreciated. 3. Do not step on the mome rafts. 4. If you start getting a little tickling urge to become a digital patron of the arts and support our wizards on the hill behind the scenes, then go to our Patreon at patreon.com/digitalrenfair. 5. Whenever I yell, a joke, you yell, a joke, right back at me. All right? Let's give that a try. A joke! I'll do it again for you who just woke up. A joke! Fantastic. What's green and invisible? This cabbage. Don't worry, I'm not your main entertainment for the day. I'll leave that to the pros. Speaking of which, our next act is no stranger to prose nor poetry. She's a princess, and you'll recognize her if you've ever been to a festival where the Charmings are in attendance. She's got some great stories lined up for you, so without further ado, Princess Snow.
Good day, my lords and ladies. I'm Princess Snow of the Woodland Kingdom. Now, usually you can find me in a trio called the Charmings with my princess sisters. But unfortunately, my princess friends couldn't be with me today. I did, however, meet a new friend in my travels.
Oh, yes, that's me, of course. If you'll excuse me. Oh, hello, friends. Good morrow. I am Pulcinella of the Kingdom of Lord Percival Degage's basement.
Oh.
It's a very lovely basement, very lush and lots of furnishings, and sometimes I try on all of his robes. Don't tell him.
Well, Punchinella and I thought that today we could share with you some stories and some songs. What do you think, Punch?
I have to admit, Princess, I love stories. And I love songs. This sounds like the best day ever.
Well, let's get started then. Now, before we start off our story, I think we need to practice using our imaginations.
Ooh, yes.
Well, what's your favorite thing to imagine, Punch?
Well, if you've met my friend Arlecchino, my favorite thing to imagine is Arlecchino being calm.
Oh, yes.
I'm imagining it right now.
Well, one of the things that I like to imagine is delicious treats,
Ooh.
like ice cream. So I want to play a game with all my friends. This is called Imagination Ice Cream. Can everybody imagine that you have a great big cone in your hand? Now, think in your head of your most favorite flavor of ice cream. And once you have it, pick up your ice cream scoop. Scoop it into your ice cream and plop it on your cone. Ready? Plop! Now everyone take a bite of your delicious ice cream. I have strawberry flavor. What kind do you have, Punch?
I have cookies and cream.
Ooh, yum. All right, my friends at home, on the count of 3, everybody yell out the yummy flavor of ice cream that you have in your cone. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Cookies
Strawberry.
and cream.
You know what? I think this is too easy. I think we should challenge our imaginations and cast a magic spell over this ice cream to turn it from a yummy flavor to a yucky flavor.
Oh.
So everyone, let's wave your hands over your ice cream. Now, we need some magic words. Punch, can you come up with some magic words for us?
I think I know the perfect magic words. Those charming favorites. You see what I did there? Charming. Abracadabra.
Oh, lovely. All right, on the count of 3, let's all say abracadabra. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Abracadabra. All right, everyone take a tiny bite of your yucky ice cream. Mine tastes like dirt.
Mine tastes like rocks.
Oh, Punch, I don't want to finish this.
Me neither.
I think we should turn it back into the yummy flavor that we had at the beginning.
Good idea.
So let's wave our hands over our ice cream again. And do you remember the magic words?
Well, I would hope so. I was the one that suggested them.
All right, so on the count of 3, we'll all say abracadabra. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Abracadabra!
All right, everyone, gobble up your yummy ice cream. Oh, but now our hands are all sticky. We have to wash our hands, so let's pump our water. Ready? Pump, pump, pump. And run your hands under the water and get your soap. And turn off your water. And shake out your hands. Oh, wonderful, my friends. You're all perfect at using your imagination.
Oh, and I have to say, I'm really glad you recommended shaking out our hands because I forgot to imagine a towel.
Well, Punch, why don't we start by telling all our friends my story?
Oh, well, I hate to be a nudge, but I feel like we've heard the story of Snow White so many times that maybe they'd like to hear my story.
Oh, well, all right, go ahead.
It all started late one night when my mother looked to my father, grabbed him by the wrist, and went, "Michael, it's time!" And they rushed to the hospital. The doctor went, push, push.
Punch,
Ah!
Punch,
Ah!
Punch, stop! Why don't we stick with my story?
Well, if you insist.
Well, I have an idea. Why don't I tell the story, and you can play all the parts?
All of the parts? It would be my honor.
Now, let's start off the story with those 4 very special magic words. Do you know what words I'm talking about?
I think I do. Copyright Florida Renaissance Festival.
No. The words I was thinking of were once,
Twice,
upon,
3
a
times a lady.
time.
Oh, yes, of course. Mine's too many anyway.
All right, friends at home, help us start off our story on the count of 3 with those 4 magic words. 1, 2, 3. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful queen who gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. And just before the queen died, she held the baby in her arms and she named her. Do you know what she named her, Punch?
Yes, I do. Heavy. She said, this baby is heavy.
Punch, whose story are we telling?
Oh. She named the baby Snow White.
That's right. And Snow White continued to grow more and more lovely. Her father, the king.
Oh, yes. Aha, yes, I'm the king. I'm young and I'm healthy.
He was growing very old and ill.
Never mind, I'm the complete opposite.
And he wanted Snow White to have a mother. So he married a beautiful woman.
Oh, she must have been very tall.
How so?
Well, you see, my friend Coviello always tells me that if I have any chance of finding a beautiful woman, it's on Amazon. And we all know that Amazons are very tall in addition to being very beautiful. So if she was very beautiful, she must have been an Amazon, and she must have been very tall.
Sure. Anyway, she was very beautiful on the outside.
Oh, like...
But on the inside, where it really counted, the queen was wicked and hideous.
Oh, like...
Exactly. But she had a magic mirror that she would look into every day.
Oh, I think I know this part. Mirror, mirror on the nightstand, where am I gonna find a juicy man?
No, Punch. That's not what she said.
No?
Here, let's try it together.
Okay, yes.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Who's the fairest of us all?
Now you try.
Right. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of us all? And the mirror said, why, it's you, your majesty.
Exactly. And this pleased the queen. She was always looking into her magic mirror. But then one day, the mirror gave her a very different answer.
Okay. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of us all? Why, it's Antarctica, your majesty.
Wait, what?
That's a very different answer. I mean, it's not even a person. You can't get much different.
You're right, but that wasn't the answer that the mirror gave. It was...
Oh, right. The mirror said, it's you, your majesty, but very soon it shall be Snow White.
This made the queen so angry. She decided from that day forward to stop me from becoming more beautiful than her. So she made me do all the chores, all the cooking and the sweeping and the washing and the windows.
She didn't make you scoop the litter box, did she?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's the worst job. It seems so pointless. I mean, if I'm going to go to the bathroom, I shouldn't have to pick it up after.
I didn't mind. Because it made me feel good to help out around the castle where I was living. So one day, I was by the well getting some water to wash the floors when I was come upon by a handsome stranger. I
don't know how to play a handsome stranger because I've never met one.
Oh,
They're a stranger.
Just be charming and dashing.
Oh.
Very good. Now, what I didn't know was that this stranger was a prince.
Ooh.
But I did know that he was special. Before we could get to know each other better, the wicked queen, my stepmother, called me from inside the castle.
Oh, yes. Hey, you there, from inside the castle. Get back in and start doing your chores.
folly. What I didn't know is that the queen was very angry because the mirror had just told her that I had become the fairest of them all.
Oh, that's right.
The queen spent the next day trying to think up of a plan to get rid of me once and for all. Finally, she had an idea. In the woods, she had a friend, a huntsman, and she had made a deal with him that whoever she sent with the golden box, he would know that she wanted that person killed and their heart placed in the box as proof of the deed.
I don't see how that plan would actually work.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, the person brings the huntsman the box,
Uh-huh.
but then he has to go and use the box to sell it for a cannon and drag the cannon back. He has to hope the person stays there the whole time. And then how are you going to put the heart in the box that you sold for the cannon?
Moving on. The queen thought that this was the perfect time to enact her plan. So she tricked me. She told me that the box contained a medicine, and could I please bring it to the huntsman, who was very ill deep in the woods. I ran into the woods, saw the huntsman in the clearing, and ran up to him with the golden box.
Oh, yes. Oh, I recognize that golden box. I reckon it's time to get to some killing, and I have to kill you, Snow White. Roar. But oh, dagnabbit, I don't think I could do it. You're just too lovely, Snow White, and besides, I'm feeling very, very ill.
No.
I better use the medicine in this box.
Puccinella, he wasn't really ill. The queen just said that to trick me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. The huntsman came up with a plan. He decided that he would take the heart of an animal that was killed in that day's hunt, place it inside the box, and tell the queen that it was my heart. But in order for that plan to work, I had to run away, never to return again. I ran into the woods scared and lonely, looking for someone to help me, when I came upon a cute little cottage. Well, I knocked on the door, but no one answered. I tried the knob, and it opened.
Oh.
Well, I looked around the cottage, and I realized that it was very, very messy. But there were all little chairs and a little table, and I thought...
Oh, I know. You thought, oh my, I must be a giant now.
No, actually, I thought it looked quite charming.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
But it would look even more charming if it was clean. So I cleaned the cottage as best I could and went up the stairs to try to find a place to rest.
Wait a minute. Wait one moment. You went up the stairs?
Yes.
Of a tiny cottage?
Yes, it was very
This
tiny.
is a tiny cottage with
Yes.
2 floors.
Well,
that,
yes.
That doesn't seem tiny.
Well, I grew up in a castle with 34 floors.
That's a lot of stairs.
Anyway, I found 7 little beds upstairs and I sprawled out across all of them. Not a long time passed before the owners of the cottage came home. Do you remember who lived there, Punch?
I think I do. It was John, Paul, George, Ringo, Mo, Larry, and Shemp.
No, silly, the 7 dwarves.
Shemp was pretty tall. I don't think I would call him a dwarf.
Anyway, the 7 dwarves entered their cottage, and because it was so clean, they thought they were in the wrong house.
That must have been very messy if cleaning it made them think it was the wrong house.
Well, I did rearrange some of the furniture a little bit.
Oh, more of a sense of feng shui.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, very good.
When they realized that it was the right house, they thought that the person that cleaned it might still be there, and they might be dangerous, so they crept up the stairs. All their fear faded away when they saw me gently asleep in the beds. They nudged me awake, and when I looked up and I saw them, I begged them to let me stay. They told me of course I could, and in return I agreed to help them with all the chores, the washing and the sweeping and the dishes.
Oh, that's an interesting bargain, I suppose. You didn't agree to do the litter box too, did you?
Oh yes.
The one opportunity you had, and you blew it.
Well, I didn't mind. Let's look back in on the queen. Now the huntsman brought the box to the queen.
There you go, miss. Here's that box you were looking for.
The queen opened the box and started to cry tears of joy.
Oh my. That's an interesting reaction. Tears of joy. I mean, because she opens the box and there's no medicine. She's very sick.
No, Punch. Remember, there was no medicine to begin with.
Right. Sorry.
She thought the heart was my heart.
Oh,
So
yes.
she thought that I was gone once and for all. So she went to her mirror and she said,
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of us all? Why, it is Snow White, your majesty, and on this very night she is staying with the 7 dwarves.
Now the queen knew that she needed to take matters into her own hands to get rid of me once and for all. So she crept down into her dungeon and disguised herself as an old peddler woman. Do you know what a peddler is, Punch?
I believe I do. It's a bicycle enthusiast.
Not quite. A peddler is someone that goes from town to town selling things.
Like bicycles.
Well, yes, I suppose they could sell bicycles.
Well, I guess we were both right.
But not in this case. In this case, the queen was going to sell me a poisoned apple.
Ooh, who'd want to buy a poisoned apple?
Well, no, she wasn't going to tell me that it was poisoned.
She wasn't going to tell you.
No.
Queen, if you're listening, I will have you know that there's one thing that gets me very upset. And that's false advertising. Moving on.
Yes. Well, back at the dwarf's cottage, the dwarfs were getting ready for work. Before they left, they told me, Snow White, make sure you don't let anyone in the house while we're gone. And I told them not to worry, I wouldn't. They weren't gone long before there was a knock at the door.
Oh, I'll get it.
No, Punch, that was me.
Oh, come in.
No, we're telling a story, remember?
Oh, right, yes.
So there was a knock at the door, and I looked out the window, and I saw a little old woman.
Bicycles and apples for sale. Bicycles and apples for sale.
I know I said I wouldn't let anybody in the house, but this woman looked so tired and thirsty. I really wanted to help. So I let her in and had her sit in a chair, and I gave her a nice cold glass of water.
Oh, that's so sweet of you, my dear. Here, have a poisoned apple.
No, Punch. She doesn't tell me that it's poison.
But that's fault. Queen, do we have to have this conversation again? Fine. Play it your way. Here, my dear, have this apple.
I took the apple in my hands and took a big, juicy, delicious bite.
Oh, don't do it.
And suddenly I felt very strange. I fell to the floor in a deep sleep. So deep it was almost like death.
Ooh.
Now, when the dwarves arrived home, they also thought I was dead.
But they must have been a little bit relieved because it was only almost death.
Oh no, they thought I was really dead.
Snow, do we have to have a conversation about false advertising?
I wasn't advertising anything, I was dead.
I'll let it slide.
They sent the littlest dwarf.
No, not Shemp.
No, not Shemp, he's the tallest. They sent the littlest dwarf out to get help. He returned with none other than the handsome stranger I had met by the well. Now the stranger didn't know what to do, so he leaned down and slowly, gently kissed my lips. What?
Slowly kissing.
Punch, not that slowly, not that slowly.
Oh. What if I blow a kiss instead?
Oh, all right. Now that kiss wasn't just any kiss. It was a magic kiss. The kiss of true love. It broke the queen's wicked spell, and I opened my eyes and looked up at the man of my dreams. The prince and I rode off to his castle and we lived.
In Bayonne, New Jersey.
No, Punch. We lived happily ever after. Those are the words that usually end the story. Happily.
Is that anywhere near Bayonne?
Well, happily ever after can be wherever you want it to be.
That must be a nightmare for map makers.
My friends, can you help us end the story by saying those words together on 3? 1, 2, 3. Happily ever after. The end. Punch, you know what I'd like to do with all of our friends now?
Oh, what's that?
I'd like to sing together.
Ooh,
Well,
yes.
and I know the perfect song that I bet everyone knows, but oh dear, I forget the name of it. Well, maybe you know it. It's the song that goes la 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 la.
Oh, yes, that's
la,
easy.
la,
That's
la,
it. That's
la.
ABC.
No. The song that goes la 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 la. Oh, I know what that is. Now I remember. I'm so silly. It's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I'm pretty sure it's ABC.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Well, agree to disagree.
Well, I am a princess.
Well,
and I've
I'm an
had a
imbecile.
lot of
I do by
tutors, and I
ABCs
think
'cause
I
that's
know-
about all
All
I
right,
can
Punch,
do.
stop. The only way to know for sure is to sing both of them and see which one it actually is.
Well, I suppose we could do that.
Well, why don't we start with yours?
Yes.
Friends at home, can you sing ABCs with us on the count of 3? Ready? 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
See, I knew it. I was correct.
Well, that was lovely, but I'd still like to try Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Well, that's still a great idea.
All right, my friends, can we sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star together on 3? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Oh, I suppose you are right and I'm wrong.
No, Punch. I believe we were both right.
Really?
I have another really fun thing we can do with these 2 songs.
All right.
We can try singing them in a round.
In a round?
Do you know what a round is?
No.
A round is when each person sings their song, but they start at a different time. So you and all of our friends out there that wanted to sing ABCs would sing your ABCs. You'd start it. And then I would start my song at a different time.
Oh, interesting. Let's try
Would
it.
you like to try? All right, you go first with the ABCs. If you're singing ABCs, follow Punch. If you're going to sing Twinkle Twinkle, sing with me. Ready?
1, 2, 3. A, B, C,
Twinkle,
D, E,
twinkle,
F, G,
little star,
H, I, J,
how
K,
I
L, M, N,
wonder
O, P,
what you
Q,
are.
R,
Up
S,
above
T,
the
U, V,
world so high,
W,
like
X,
a
Y,
diamond
and Z.
in the sky.
Now I know
Twinkle,
my
twinkle,
ABCs.
little
Next
star,
time,
how
won't
I
you sing
wonder
with
what
me?
you are. We did it! Punch, we can stop now. Well, my friends, now that our voices are all warmed up, I'd like to teach you a new song. There's this really wonderful song that I know called the Echo Song. Do you know what an echo is, Punch?
Oh, I think it's that thing where, whenever Lord Percival gets really angry at me and he yells so high that it's almost like I hear it over and over again, but he only said it once.
That's right. An echo is a sound that repeats. So if this is an echo song, what do you think that means? You're going to sing...
I'm going to sing what you sing.
You're going to sing what I sing, exactly. And you at home, you can do it too. So let's just try, let's just practice. Let's say I sing fiddle diddle dee. You would sing
Fiddle diddle dee.
oh, very good. Let's try another one. Tra la la. Now you.
Tra-la-la.
Oh, that was lovely. So now we can just try this song together then. It'll be so much fun.
Sounds fun.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Tra-la-la.
Punch, punch. We haven't started yet.
Oh, right. I'm supposed to echo.
Yes.
Yes.
Sing what
Tra-la-la.
punch. That was lovely.
Thank you.
It was quite lovely. I can tell you've been practicing. I should have explained this a little bit better. I'm going to sing a little bit first, and then when I tell you to, I'll point like this. You're going to sing what I sing then because you don't know what I'm going to say.
Oh, that's
Yes.
a good point. It's not always going to be tra-la-la.
No, the different combination of words that could come out of my mouth is literally infinite.
Wow.
So you have to listen.
Okay, yes.
Third time's the charm. Ready?
The charming.
Sing what I sing, sing after me. Be my echo if you can be. Sing tra-la-la. Now you.
Tra-la-la.
Me.
Me.
Ha, ha, ha.
Ha, ha, ha.
Hee. Pick a peck of peppers.
Pick a peck of peppers.
Diddle diddle dee.
Fiddle diddle dee.
Be my echo.
Be my echo.
Sing what I sing.
Sing what I sing.
Follow the leader and sing after me. Let's try another verse. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sing what I sing, sing after me. Be my echo if you can be. Sing fly.
Fly.
No.
No.
High.
High.
Low.
Low.
Pick a peck of peppers.
Pick a peck of peppers.
Diddle diddle dee.
You are putting me on.
Be my echo.
Be my echo.
Sing what I sing.
Sing what I sing.
Follow the leader and sing after me. Let's try one more. This one's really tricky. Ready? Sing
Tra.
me.
Ha.
He.
Fly.
No.
No.
High. Low.
Low.
Pick a peck of peppers.
Pick a peck of peppers.
Diddle diddle dee.
Show off.
I'm a princess. Be my echo.
Be my echo.
Sing what I sing.
Sing what I sing.
Follow the leader and sing after me.
Sing after me.
Very good. We want to thank all of our friends for joining us today. We had a wonderful time, didn't we, Punch?
I had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much for sharing in our stories and songs. If any of you would like to donate to our story fund, you can do so by accessing our virtual tip bucket. Now, our friend Miss Jamie is in charge of our tip buckets. You can access it on Venmo, Princess Snow at Jamie DeLorco, or on PayPal at paypal.me/Jamie DeLorco. Thank you so much, my friends. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Welcome back! Did you have fun? Did you learn things? Did you make good choices? While you've been gone, I've been doing some bird watching. Did you know that in the fantasy forest, it's really hard to tell the difference between a bird and a fairy? Because many of the fairy folk are very small, but even the ones that are grown-up sized, they often have voices that are like birds. Which brings us to the next act in Liv's fantasy forest safari, the Nightingale.
Hello, my darling patrons of the Digital Renaissance Festival. Welcome to the Songs of the Nightingale. Now, I see the curiosity within your heart. Be not afeard, I will be gentle. The fairy world is a great and wondrous place, though wicked it may be. We shall show you the way. Now, we have a condensed version of a magical tale that I've created for you that we call the Crystal Koi. But do keep in mind that we do like to see the bright side of the dark side here, and you'll hear that much reflected in our tale. So to begin, our darling Crystal Koi. Now, as you may know, many of us have a hard time seeing the forest for the trees, as it were. Well, this is also so for our protagonist, as it were. Now, him being so wrapped up in his self-pity, one day, he found himself in a beautiful wood. And deep within this wood, there was a lovely magical pool that did soothe him so well that he would come to it each day and bear his sorrows. Well, every time he would return and he would shed his tears, all the while thinking he was speaking to himself. But truly, this was a home to a great and magnificent god of sorts. Now, as he sit by this pool, he hear a voice, and suddenly before him, a great shimmering beast did rise, and before he could take a second breath, the air around him changed, and this koi-like creature began to speak beyond his words into the back of the young man's mind, with tell of a proposition of sorts. So you have a want, you might say a need, I might call it greed. Either way you spin it, there's one way to get it, though nothing here is free. Shall we have a bargain, a friendly little deal? Let's make a nice arrangement. What I have to offer really is a steal. Come a little closer, and we'll have a chat. You wish to go on living? Well, I can manage that. Time enough to live 1,000 lives and never stop. Shall we cover cost? I won't ask for much. I do have an interest in the rhythm hiding underneath your skin. Don't let that scare you for what I ask. You haven't used a dear since childhood past. Come by the water so you can see. Settle the deal now, just you and me. Something about the words of this beast soothed the man, so he drew nearer, fully prepared to accept what sounded like a gift of immortality. However, the crystal koi began to recite an eerie sort of song. In you lies payment due, soul nor eyes nor voice shall you give. In your chest the rhythm of your life is mine now. Don't mind in how. As the koi continued his song, a blue burning glow began to emanate from the young man's chest, As he clutched at his shirt in pain, he found his hands full with an indescribable weight. Blinded by its shine, he couldn't imagine what lay so perfectly in his palms. Well, as this weight lifted from his hands toward the glistening god before him, he could see just what he had for it. A human heart. His heart. All the while, a crystal clear scale did replace the soft warmth that was once in his still cupped hands. He clutched it as if his life depended on it, and all without thinking, his legs carried him wildly away from the cool pond, where he once felt so safe and at home. He collapsed on his bed, still clutching his gift, and recalls his mystical encounter. Did that really just happen? Oh, I've clearly gone. Am I to believe that what's here in my hand will make me live forever as I am? How long will I go on if I don't take this gift with no heart within me? I should cease to exist. Even now as I ponder, how do I stand? The decision's made for me. All that's left is to act. I'll do as he told me, and perhaps after that I'll wake in the morning and it'll all be a dream. But it's best to be sure, either or, dream or more. Ever so carefully, the young man ground his crystal scale into a shimmering powder, so to drink with his evening tea. And as he drifted off to sleep, he felt his worries melt away, as if the day were merely a nightmare. Now, as the sun rose in the morning, the young man awoke to a feeling of weightlessness. He was now certain that all his sorrow as a mortal human would be changed, and that now everything would go as he wished. I've never seen before, I've never felt all the more I've been blind to. I can hear the love, the imperfect balance as it thrives. It is clear to just what I'll do. But time passed in a new way for the eternally young man. And time did not stop. The world did not bow, and the earth did not quake. For what did he have to offer? All the while spinning on and on, expecting his journey to become a straight line. Now by this time he had become so dazed and dizzy by the loneliness that he never noticed how he found his way back to a familiar pond, deep in an emerald wood. Oh, crystal beast, you show me your face. The gift you gave must be replaced. I wish now for a power over will. The pact we made still needs fulfilled. To him, the Koi's gift was unequal to his payment, and with just a little more power, he could make the world love him. And with that, their debt would be settled. Disgusted by the arrogance of the young man, the crystal Koi easily cast away what little pity he once felt for him, and bid him one final farewell. Engulfed in grief and driven by greed, your hungry self-pity has burst from its seed, and from it blooms a vicious weed that you've been quite willing to groom and feed. Now you come demanding more, for you can't see the fruit you've got. 'Tis lush and bright, but tart inside, enriched by all the hate you hide. Not even you would indulge in this snack, but lucky for us, I've solution to that. Oh my garden, your fruit is most tender, ripe for me to see on display. Truly is curious how things sometimes turn, and I often wonder why most humans won't learn. 'Tis the same stealthy avarice from charm's final hour that leads you here now for me to devour. Then with one soft sweep of the crystal boy's nearly translucent body, he was satisfied, and the young man would yearn no more. Well, thank you so much, my darlings. Again, that is the Crystal Koi, an all-original tale. Well, it condensed a sort of Cliff Notes version of it anyways. Now, we would also love to invite you, if you would, to come and find us on Patreon. You can subscribe there to Nightingale Haven and see all kinds of magic and music, costume creation, and all kinds of music, really, not just this magical, whimsical thing here. We'll have jazz and contemporary and more original music of all kinds. So we do hope to see you there. Do enjoy the rest of our Digital Renaissance Festival today, and farewell.
That Nightingale was something, wasn't she? Quite amazing. Did you know you could find all sorts of creatures hanging around in the fantasy forest? Boggarts, Selkies, will-o'-the-wisps. What's your favorite fantasy creature? Write it in the comments. Maybe you'll find someone who has exactly the same favorite fantasy creature as you. Mine's an Entwife. They're very sweet, though very shy. Did anyone say unicorn? As we know from Rowan and the Rose, the unicorn is an awesome, grand, lovely creature. If you did say unicorn, you're in luck, because our next act is Unicorn Hugs.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls of all ages. Welcome to the Unicorn Hug Show. I'm so excited to have you here. Now today, I'm going to tell you about one of the most magical creatures to ever walk the earth, the unicorn. I'm sure many of you grew up reading fairy tales and hearing stories about unicorns, but today, you are going to meet some in real life. Not only that, but I'm going to show you why these are some of the most intelligent and magnificent creatures. It is my immense honor to introduce the beautiful Spirit the unicorn. Spirit, can you wave to some of your new friends? Very nice, Spirit. Now, Spirit here thinks that he is one of the smartest unicorns to ever walk the earth. Is that true, Spirit? Do you think you're pretty smart? Yeah? Well, I'm pretty smart too, huh, Spirit? No! Oh, wow. Well, I see how this show is gonna go. Obviously, Spirit is feeling a little ornery. I think he might have forgotten who's in charge of the treats, though. Now, you might have already noticed the beautiful gold horn that sits atop Spirit's head. That is, of course, the key to all of a unicorn's magic. Inside that gold horn, there is actually swirling gold dust. Now, Spirit here has given me some of that magic dust out of his horn, and I keep it inside this glass bottle. He has given me permission to share it with only his closest of friends. The way that a unicorn's magic dust works is that you get it sprinkled into your hand, and you blow it, and make a wish. Unfortunately, there are some bad people who try to capture the unicorns for that magic that is inside their horns. We've decided that the best way to protect these beautiful creatures is to teach them how to fend for themselves. So we have taught the unicorns how to untie a knot. The first thing I'm going to do is tie this handkerchief around Spirit's front leg, and we're going to see how long it takes him to untie it. One, two, very nice, 2 seconds. These bad guys who are capturing the unicorns, well, they realized that we'd taught the unicorns how to untie themselves once they were caught. So they thought they were being smart, and they tied the unicorns up from the back legs. So we have taught the unicorns how to untie a knot from their back legs as well. Here, Spirit is going to demonstrate. We're going to see how quick he can untie himself from his back legs. One, two, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds. Very nice, Spirit. Can you bring it right up here and wave your prize? Very good, buddy. Very nice. Now, after a long day of spreading unicorn magic, the unicorns are worn out, so it's time for bed. Spirit here, just like many of you, I'm sure, has a favorite blankie. He's had this blankie since he was a little colt, and now he's going to demonstrate his bedtime routine. Lay down, Spirit, all the way. Good boy. Very good, very good. And once Spirit is in bed, you throw his blanket over him, and he tucks himself in. Spirit, you ready to tuck yourself in? Good boy. You can see he's a bit of a blanket hog. One of Spirit and I's favorite things to do is to go out and find a beautiful field of wildflowers and just sit and relax. Not many people know that unicorns are actually amazing at keeping secrets. If you have a secret, you just whisper it in a unicorn's ear and they will never ever tell anybody. One day I told Spirit that one of my favorite things to do is listen to our musician friends play. Spirit took it upon himself to go back to the Glen every night for a year and practice. And then he surprised me with something truly magical. I'm going to show you guys today. Spirit actually learned how to play the piano. Very good, Spirit. A little known fact is that a herd of unicorns is actually called a blessing. And within that herd, there are certain tiers. The unicorns establish and determine their tiers by doing things such as rearing to make themselves look larger. Today, Spirit is going to demonstrate how he can rear. Ready? Good boy. One more time. Good boy, Spirit. Since unicorns originate from the forests of Europe, Spirit is bound and determined to carry on some of Europe's time-honored traditions, including soccer, or what they like to call football. Spirit here has been practicing his penalty kicks. You can do better than that, bud. Good job. One more go. Nice. Unicorns are the actual recognized national animal of Scotland. How cool is that? Unicorns actually originate from deep in the forests all over Europe. In the wild, unicorns are incredibly elusive and very shy. Not many of them have been seen in their natural habitat. Because of that, there are more and more people who don't believe in the actual existence of unicorns. There's not many people to protect them because of that. That's why we need people like you and like me to spread the word that unicorns are real and to keep on believing in their magic. These unicorns that you're meeting today on this stage, not only are these some of the last real live unicorns, but they are actual trained therapy unicorns. As part of the not-for-profit Unicorn Hugs, these little guys are actually trained to go inside children's hospitals. They're potty trained, they go up the elevators, and they actually surprise the kids inside their hospital bedrooms nationwide. When they're in the hospitals, they have to wear tiny little Build-A-Bear shoes on their hooves so that they don't slip on the tile. They love their job of keeping the magic alive and of surprising these kids inside their hospital rooms. I'd like to introduce you all to our second wonderful unicorn, Prince. Prince, can you give everybody a big smile? Good job, buddy. Unicorns are incredibly smart creatures. Prince here is so smart that he's actually learned how to do simple math. You want to show him, Prince? Let's start with 3 plus 2, some addition. Ready? 3 plus 2. Very nice. How about we try some simple subtraction? What's 8 minus 1? 8 minus 1. Ready? Very nice, it is 7. As you saw earlier, Spirit the Unicorn wanted to honor the Europeans by learning how to take a penalty kick in soccer. Well, Prince here didn't want to be left out, and because he has an appointment with the Queen later on this year, he decided he would learn how to be a true gentleman. And of course, his first lesson is in manners. He wants to learn how to pick up a hanky when a lady drops it. You ready to demonstrate? All right. Oh no, I've dropped my hanky. Whatever shall I do? Why, that is so kind of you, Prince. Would you like to demonstrate again? Oh no, I've dropped my hanky. What shall I do? What a very kind gentleman. I'd like to introduce you to the third unicorn of Unicorn Hugs. Her name is Little Buttercup. Now you might notice that Buttercup looks a little bit different than the rest of the unicorns. That's because Buttercup has a condition called dwarfism. It manifests itself in Buttercup with her large underbite and her extra large tummy. Buttercup has a large tummy because she's actually housing regular-sized miniature horse organs inside her little body. She is permanently this small and she won't get any bigger. Buttercup is fully grown. Even though she has these disabilities, Buttercup does not let it stop her. She is one of the feistiest unicorns of Unicorn's Hugs, and she is certainly one of the most loving. Buttercup is a true testament that no matter your disability, whatever you set your mind to, you can make it come true. Buttercup does wonderful visits inside the children's hospitals, and even though she has a disability, she hasn't let it stop her from creating unicorn magic nationwide. Prince the Unicorn has always believed that he is true royalty, and he's going to prove that here today by sitting upon his hay bale throne. All right, Prince, go ahead, bud. Very nice. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of Unicorn Hugs. We are so excited to be here with you, and we hope that seeing these beautiful, magnificent creatures in real life will inspire you to take on the task of proving that unicorns are very real.
That was something, wasn't it? Quite amazing. I wanted to show you something. Look here. Do you see that? That weird little glimmer in this pool? This is one of the portals between the fantasy forest and the real world. It's what our wizards use when they go to your world to do things like live streams and premieres and other abracadabra nonsense that I don't understand. Speaking of which, did you know that you can support our Wizards on the Hill and also get really cool bonus content by going to our Patreon? Yeah, just go to patreon.com/digitalrenfair. Do you see that little glimmer? If you squint and look carefully, you'll be able to see my friend, Pirouette, the magical dancer, dancing at a festival in your world. Look very closely. There she is!
Hello, welcome back. I'm Liv's great auntie Laurel. It's nice to meet you. Now, Liv went off and is trying to find her musical instrument in the next room, banging things about, so she left you here with me. Did you enjoy the dancer? She's my favourite, she is. Now, do you know how to play Go Fish? I love Go Fish. The only problem is I'm blind as a bat, so I can't tell. Is that an ace or a queen? It's the Lady Victoria. I must have grabbed Liv's Music the Gathering cards by mistake. Her and her friends Asia and Marco have all these cards representing musicians from across the Renaissance Festival circuit. Some of these people have been on the Digital Ren Fair before. We've got Rowan the Bard and Pride of Ireland and Rindle Payson, Randall Piper, and there's the Crack Show, the Vodka Family, Chase Treasure, Musical Blades. There's a lot on there. I have the full collection because I got it on the Music the Gathering website. Wizards, could you put the Music the Gathering website right here, please? Thank you. You can also go to their website to get all the music because now it's plague times and the band can't play together. But you can also get their music on those things like Spotification and Banana Music, Pear Music, Apple Music, whatever kids use these days. Oh, I still have enough elf blood in these ears to be able to hear that Liv has her guitar and she's ready to go. So go on and see her, but come back to see me, won't you?
Hello. Did you have fun with Auntie Laurel? She's a hoot, isn't she? She actually taught me a really fun joke, so... A joke! Did you hear about the gnome who was pickpocketed the other day in broad daylight? How could anyone stoop so low? I'll stop, but only because I have a really exciting announcement to make. Next Saturday, the Digital Ren Fair is partnering with the Rescue Foundation to put on a rescue rally. There's going to be so many fun things like music, comedy, live auctions, a costume showcase, giveaways. You can find all the information about the costume showcase on our Facebook page and on our Instagram feed. But basically what you do, you dress up in garb, you take a picture, you submit it, and then you have the chance to win fun prizes. It's like a win-win-win-win-win situation. Now, on to our next act. It's time to visit with Primrose the Bubble Fairy. Where, oh, where do banshees sigh? Where do centaurs clomp? Where do sirens sigh? Where do hobgoblins dwell or homunculi? Homunculi are very small humanoid creatures. I want to find them someday. Where's that which can't be bought nor sold? The alchemist's heat nor the frost giant's cold. Some of what glisters must be gold. It's here in the forest, or so I've been told. One day, I want to write a song about all of the magical beings in the fantasy forest. I'm taking pointers from this next act because they are masters of writing music about magical creatures. It's the Harper and the Minstrel with the Hobbit song.
Hi, we're the Harper and the Minstrel.
And this is our tiny desk with our tiny characters from Middle-earth, where this song that we wrote takes place, a celebration after the destroying of the ring. The hobbits return to the prancing pony, and we imagine they would sing a song like this. Of course, it will have 3 titles.
There to the pub and back again.
The Hobbit Drinking Song.
Or, by its catchy chorus, Pour Me Another Pint. Here we go.
Pour me another pint, pour me another pint, pour me another pint of ale. In the morning my order is to head straight to Mordor. Pour me another pint of ale, my friend. Pour me another pint of ale.
Look when our story begins.
We've got this one ring, and here's the thing, we just can't give it away. Well, the elves wouldn't take it, and the dwarf couldn't break it, and no one's seen Gandalf the Grey all day. No one's seen Gandalf the Grey. So pour me another pint, pour me another pint, pour me another pint of ale. In the morning my order is to head straight to Mordor. Pour me another pint of ale, my friend. Pour me another pint of ale. The ring wraiths are near, so finish your beer and get your arse out the door. That Strider should lead, but he's smoking pipe weed. Totally legal in the Shire.
Oh. So, bartender, pour us one more, one more. Hey, bartender, pour us one more.
And pour me another pint, pour me another pint, pour me another pint of ale. In the morning my order is to head straight to Mordor. Pour me another pint of ale, my friend. Pour me another pint of ale.
Let's journey into book 2.
Well, we heard this great sound and it shook the ground. The ring wraiths are outside the door. Let's leave this room and we'll head for Mount Doom. We'll stop at a pub in Mordor. Mordor, there must be a pub in Mordor.
Where they'll
Pour me another pint, pour me another pint, pour me another pint of ale. In the morning my order is to head straight to Mordor. Pour me another pint of ale, my friend. Pour me another pint of ale.
Book 3 and the big finish.
We destroyed the ring, and here's the thing. The walls of Mordor did fall. Now the humans and the wizards and the elves and the dwarfs, they're buying pints for us all, for us all. They're buying pints for us all. So pour me another pint, pour me another pint, pour me another pint of ale. Now we can retire and get drunk in the Shire. So pour me another pint of ale, my friend. Pour me another pint of ale one more time. Pour me another pint, pour me another pint, pour me another pint of ale. Now we can retire and get drunk in the Shire. So pour me another pint of ale, my friend. Pour me another pint of ale.
Lancha, and thank you.
Cheers.
I love that song. It makes me want to start eating 6 meals a day and growing hair on my feet. How many of you out there are Tolkien fans? Put a little thumbs up. No, put the little blonde Galadriel elf in the comments if you like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. You know the emoji I mean. Speaking of Tolkien, did you know that he was influenced by a lot of Irish folklore? Aye, if you've ever read The Tyne, which deals with Cuchulainn and Queen Medb, then you know what I mean. Highly recommend reading it. And speaking of my home country, I think it's time to go over to Lily Faye of the Emerald Isle. She has some stories of her own to tell you. Take it away, Lily.
Oh, hello there. I'm Lily Faye. I come from the Emerald Isle, which you might know better as Ireland. And I've come to tell you a story today that is very popular amongst all the children in Ireland. It's called Finn and the Salmon of Knowledge. So, once upon a time, a baby called Demna was born to a very frightened mother called Myrnie. She was hiding because her husband Cool had been killed by a one-eyed warrior called Gall. He had killed Cool to take his place as leader of the Fianna, an elite group of warriors that guarded the king. Gall vowed to hunt down Cool's baby so that he wouldn't grow up to avenge his father's death. Myrnie knew her baby wouldn't be safe with her, so she left him to be raised by handmaidens in the wilds of the Sleeve Bloom Mountains. Demna was a beautiful baby, with hair as fair as his father's. His handmaidens taught him all the ways of the wild. By the time he was a boy, Demna could hunt a bird from the sky with a slingshot and outpace a running deer. As he got older, he sought out company of his own age, and one day was lured to the fort of a chieftain by a game of hurling that was being played by a group of boys. They asked Demna his name, but the women who cared for him had told him it would be dangerous to reveal it. So he said nothing, and the boys called him Finn, which means fair, because he had hair as golden as sheaves of wheat. Finn was given a hurley stick and taught the rules of the game. He picked it up quickly, and soon became the best on the pitch. When he returned home, he told the handmaidens how the boys had started calling him Finn. They liked this name and started calling him Finn too. Having a new name might also keep the boys safe from Gall. Each day, Finn turned up to play hurling with the boys, and soon word spread about the strength, speed, and bravery of this blonde-haired boy. The news reached the ears of Gall, the one-eyed captain of the Fianna who had killed Finn's father. "Did you say this boy has fair hair?" Gall asked his messenger. The messenger nodded, "Yellow like butter." Cool had fair hair also, thought Gall. Could this be the child I've been searching for? Gall sent the man to capture the boy. Like Gall, the handmaidens had heard people talking about the blonde-haired boy who was brilliant at hurling. They were worried about his safety, so they told him how his father, Cool, had once been leader of the Fianna, but had been killed by Gall. Everyone knew of the Fianna, and Finn was excited by the possibility of becoming one of them. "Does that mean I am the rightful leader of the Fianna?" he asked. The women nodded, but told him he needed to become a warrior himself before he became a captain of warriors. So Finn left their care to train with many different chieftains in Ireland. He learned how to swing a sword, throw a spear, and use a shield to defend himself. Soon he became one of the greatest warriors in the land, gathering his own band of followers, some of whom had been his father's old friends. Finn returned to his foster mothers to show off his hard-won battle skills. "Am I now ready to become leader of the Fianna?" he asked. "You are indeed a great warrior, Finn," they said, "but a leader needs to be wise as well as dangerous." So they sent him to the banks of the River Boyne to learn the arts of poetry and storytelling from a wise man called Finnegas. For 7 years, this druid had been fishing in the river in hopes of catching the legendary salmon of knowledge. It was said that whoever ate the fish would acquire all the wisdom and knowledge of the world. Over the 7 years he had sought the fish, Finnegas had tried many different methods of fishing, but none had been successful. Finn took to his new training quickly. It was certainly easier than fighting practice he'd undergone with the chieftains. Each morning, Finn would collect dry wood. Once he had a fire going, he would gather wild fruit, nuts, and herbs to be used in the dinner later that day. Then he would check the fishing lines that Finnegas had set up along the river. He always expected to see the magical salmon dangling from a hook, but mostly he found nothing. If he was lucky, he'd find a trout, which he would clean and prepare to be cooked later on. Then he would do his study, usually memorizing a poem or story that Finnegas had recited the previous day. Finn would practice retelling it aloud while walking up and down the riverbank. He wouldn't have thought this would be tiring, but after a few hours he always needed a break. Perhaps it was as tiring as training with weapons, but in a different way. His break would consist of cooking the fish that had been caught. He would build a spit by pressing 2 Y-shaped branches on either side of the fire. Then he would skewer the trout on a 3rd branch and place it on the 2 Y-shaped branches above the flames. The fish would then be rotated slowly until it was cooked. Finn and Finnegas would share the meal of trout, nuts, and herbs. Afterwards, Finnegas would recite a new poem or story for Finn to memorize the following day. Student and teacher would sleep under the stars with the sound of the river lulling them to sleep. It was a peaceful if uneventful life. One day, Finn was busy composing a poem when he heard his teacher shouting his name from further down the riverbank. Finn ran to the old man to see what was the matter. He found Finnegas dancing with joy, holding a huge red-speckled salmon, its scales glittering like the silver moon and its eyes full of wisdom. "I caught it, my boy," he shouted. "I finally caught the salmon of knowledge." "That's fantastic news," said Finn. "What will you do with it?" Finnegas laughed. "Eat it, of course." "Shall I cook it for you, teacher?" said Finn. "Or would you prefer to cook this one yourself?" "You've become rather good at the cooking, my boy, so yes, I would like you to do it." He handed the fish over. "But you must swear that you won't taste the fish before me." "I promise," said Finn. "Not even the smallest bite," warned Finnegas. "I must be the first to eat it." Finn nodded and built a fire. He placed the salmon on a spit, then hung it over the flames. The smell of cooking fish and the sight of its crisp, golden skin made Finn's mouth water. But he was a man of his word and kept his promise not to take even a small bite of the salmon. As Finn turned the spit, he thought about what it would be like to have all the knowledge of the world. You would always know which direction to take in the woods, which weapon to choose in a fight, and when your enemy was next going to attack. It was a power that could make you very popular with every king in Ireland. It was an ability that could make you a very rich... "Ow!" shouted Finn. He'd been so busy daydreaming that he had not been concentrating on the job at hand. And as he was turning the spit, he scorched his thumb on the hot salmon. Immediately, he put his thumb into his mouth to ease the pain. But sucking the throbbing blister on his thumb did more than ease the pain. It also gave him the first taste of the fish. Centuries of knowledge and wisdom flowed through his mind in a torrent of light, image, and sound. Finn knew that something special had happened to him, but instead of delight, he only felt guilt. Finnegas had spent years waiting to catch this salmon, and along comes a student and steals the honor away from him. How disappointed Finnegas would be, how betrayed he would feel. Perhaps if I say nothing, thought Finn, and Finnegas eats the salmon, then he'll receive the gift as well as me. He decided not to tell Finnegas when he called him for his meal. However, as soon as the teacher saw Finn, he noticed there was something different about his student. His eyes seemed brighter, deeper, and something else. They seemed wiser. "Did you taste the salmon?" asked Finnegas, a nervous fear pulling at his face. He looked like he knew the answer, but was hoping he was wrong. Finn swallowed the lump in his throat. He couldn't lie to his teacher. It was bad enough that he'd stolen the man's dream away without lying about it too. He told Finnegas what had happened. For a long time, Finnegas stared at the ground, speechless. But when he looked up, there was no anger in his eyes, only sadness. "A prophecy said that a fair-haired man would eat the salmon of knowledge," he said. "Because my hair was once blonde, I thought it would be me, but seemingly not. The gift of knowledge is yours, Finn, so please, eat the fish." He handed over the steaming salmon and waited for his student to eat. Finn, however, had lost his appetite. "Please eat, my boy," said Finnegas. "Though I am a little sad not to be the chosen one, I'm happy that the gift of knowledge has gone to a man of honor such as yourself." Finn McCool nodded, ate the fish, and received the gift that had eluded Finnegas for so long. From that day on, whenever Finn wanted to know what the future held, or was trying to solve some mystery, he merely had to put his scorched thumb into his mouth, and whatever knowledge he required would always come to him. He promised himself he would only use this power for the good of his fellow people, and never for selfish reasons. It was this promise, rather than the power itself, that led Finn to become one of Ireland's greatest heroes, loved by king and peasant alike. So what did you think of that story? I hope you enjoyed it as much as all the folks who live in Ireland do. And I just want to thank you for joining me for a lovely story time brought to you with the help of my human friends and their magical moving images, so you can enjoy this safely from your home. If you'd like to contribute and donate to my travels from the fairy realm and into your world again, you can do so at PayPal using the email lilefae@gmail.com. So that's lilefae@gmail.com. You can also follow me on social media at lilefae. And if you'd like to take some of your very own fairy dust home with you, have that sent to you, you can go to the Etsy link that will be in the description of this lovely video. Thank you again so much for joining me.
Wonderful! Another brilliant performance. Did you know that if you can't find the tipping information for any of these performers and you want to show them some love, you can find it in 2 locations. First of all, in the description of this video, and secondly, at the Facebook page called DRF Marketplace. It's our digital Ren Fair Bazaar where you can find information like digital tip baskets, CD and merch stores, websites, and upcoming events for our featured performers. Speaking of which, we have another performer coming up, but before we do, I don't think we've had enough jokes yet. So, a joke! Alright, one more time for those of you who are sleeping. A joke! Brilliant. What do you call a retired wizard? A wuzzard. I hope that our next performer likes that joke because I do not want to become a druid shish kebab. Please welcome the beautiful, fiery Dragon Queen.
Who are you? What are you doing in my den?
Love. Dear, these are my friends. They are here for dinner.
Ah, dinner. Good. I'm hungry.
No, not for dinner. To dinner. They are our dinner guests. Welcome.
But wait, you do not even know how to cook.
No, but I do know how to drink. Long live me, the Dragon Queen. Huzzah!
If you are not going to feed them, I think maybe you should entertain them.
What a wonderful idea, my love. I may not know how to cook things, but I do know how to burn things. Now, if you'll please follow me into the outdoor courtyard. We have a special treat just for you. Cheers. thank you so much for joining us this evening. We had a wonderful time with you. We hope to see you again soon. Long live the Dragon King and Queen.
Huzzah! What a performance! Well done! So how are you all doing? Do you need to grab a glass of water, take a breather, sit down? Oh, I just realized you can do all of those things because you're home. Well done, Muggles, for figuring out how to be two places at once, both here in the fantasy forest and on your couches. Well, in that case, on to the next act. Did you know that all bodies of water in the fantasy forest are crawling with, squirming with, squelching with mermaids? Introducing our next act, give a warm, wet welcome to the mermaids of the Circus Siren Pod.
Oh, it's Mermaid Katya Undersea. Katya is descended from dragons, so perhaps she's a very distant relative of the Dragon Queen. Katya's got a slightly sad history, though. She comes from the depths of the Pacific Ocean, where she lost her familial pod to offshore drilling. But don't worry, she fought back. She's a warrior. It's Mermaid Charlotte Hardcastle. Look at that. She's known as something called a by-water mermaid, meaning she's comfortable in both fresh water and salt water. Now don't worry that she's in a tank. She wants to be there. She just wanted to visit with humankind, so she needed some water that was portable, you know. Oh wow, it's Mermaid Morgana Alba. She's swimming with the sea lions, she is. You know, it's said that Morgana is the daughter of Anne Bonny, the famous pirate, and that she was raised by mermaids in the Caribbean. Mermaid Tasha is known as the Marlin Mermaid because she's got markings that are very similar to a swordfish or a marlin. She's also extremely fast.
Weren't those mermaids fantastic? In the fantasy forest, you can also find their distant relative. She's the New England River Mermaid. Let's take a look. Yikes! Did I mention it was a very distant relative? I think on that note, it might be good to start heading home. It's nice to visit the fantasy forest, but you get a little homesick sometimes. So, how do we get back to the real world, you might ask? Well, it's quite simple, and some humans have gotten close to guessing, but haven't quite gotten there. So, for example, Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, she claps her heels together and says there's no place like home. Well, the tricky thing about that is it's kind of awkward to tap your heels together, especially if, like me, you spend half your time not with legs, but with a trunk and some roots. And then there's Peter Pan that got it kind of backwards. In Peter Pan, you clap to say you believe in fairies. While that may work for some fairies, here in the fantasy forest, you clap to show you believe in and remember the real world. So here's what you have to do. You have to think about what you love most about home. Find a little kernel, something that brings you joy about being home, and lock that in your mind. You could even write it in the comments if you'd like. Have you got something? Have you got something that you love about being home? Now hold it in your mind, and when it's there, we're gonna start clapping. Are you ready? Go!
Whoa! Wow! You did it! Welcome home, friends! You're back in the real world, where magic is only a short step away at any given moment. Now, before I let you go, a couple quick reminders. First of all, if you want to know more about my band, Music the Gathering, and my travelling companions, Ozia and Marco, then go to our website at musicthegathering.com or find us on Facebook or Instagram at Music the Gathering Band. And if you go to our website, that's where we have all of our trading cards representing musicians from across the Renaissance Festival circuit. Secondly, if you want to become a patron of the arts and support our Wizards on the Hill while getting fun bonus content, then go to our Patreon at patreon.com/digitalrenfair. And then finally, and possibly most excitingly, this Saturday we are partnering with the Rescue Foundation and organising a rescue rally. That's this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to have live auctions, music, comedy, giveaways, a costume showcase. And remember, you can go to our post on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about the costume showcase and how you can get fun prizes. Now, one last thing before you go, and that's, of course, a toast. So join me, friends, in raising your glasses high. A toast! Now, this starts morbid and weird, but I promise it gets nice at the end. When you all die, I hope that you are buried in coffins made from the wood of a 100-year-old oak tree that I shall plant tomorrow. Sláinte, we're going to be really old together. Thank you so much, friends, for tuning into this episode of #DigitalRenfair. Farewell!